What is up, my fellow Guardians? Dragar Evilbane here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the update coming on January 30th, update 1.1.2. Now, this update is going to drop on Tuesday at 8 a.m. and it's scheduled to end on noon, so be ready for that. Now, we have a lot to go over in this video, so let's get started. We'll start with Iron Banner. The Iron Banner is going to drop Tuesday. The game is going to be Control. Now, just like the faction rally we just had, we are going to get new weapons. However, we're not going to get a whole slew of weapons right off the bat. We're going to get 3 new weapons to start with. The first one is a Heka hand cannon. The second one is the Viced scout rifle. And the last one is the Suros shotgun. And by the looks of it, it looks like to be a slug shooting shotgun. We will also be getting a new Sparrow, a new Ghost, and another emblem that for some reason we're getting another emblem that shows how many packages we've obtained during the event. We already have one, so I don't know where we're getting another one. Would be cool if we get one that shows our match wins in Iron Banner, but we'll take it. Now, they do go on to say that we'll also be getting a new ship, yet they're not going to show it. That's something we got to find for ourselves, which I'm excited for. Took me forever to get the one in Destiny 1, so I'm definitely going to be going for it. Hopefully it'll look as good as it did in Destiny 1. Bungie does state, however, that if you're missing any items from last season, they will still drop as possible rewards from ranking Lord Shaxx up. They said that we also have added the ability to obtain armor and 3 different weapons from Lord Saladin during each event. And as you can see at the bottom there, we got the 3 featured weapons, and of course the armors. And like almost all the other vendors, we're probably going to have to rank up just to be able to unlock those armor pieces. But if you're missing anything, you'll definitely be able to get it now. Instead of like my friend, he had to go through about 60 rank up packages before he got the Time Worn Spire from Season 1. So it's going to be a lot easier for everybody. Bungie also goes on to say that there are no limits to how many engrams you can acquire or how many tokens you can earn. Get as much playtime as possible during the week. It'll always move you closer to obtaining another engram, earning an ornament, or purchasing a new piece of gear from Lord Saladin, so go nuts. Really interesting. Can't wait for Iron Banner to get here. I'm ready to sweat my ass off like we had to do in Season 1, but I'm ready for it. Can't wait. Bungie also goes on to talk about the new Masterwork armor. They said all legendary armor now has a chance to drop as a Masterwork. The same rules apply as with the weapons. You will have a higher chance of getting Armor Masterworks from trials and raid activities. But of course, you'll still be able to get them from regular engrams and other rank up packages and whatnot. Now, the benefits to having Masterwork armor is that each piece is going to grant 3% damage resistance when you're using a super that stacks up to 15%, depending on if you have a full set or not. You can also re-roll the heavy, light, or restorative perks on the armors. That'll cost 1 Master Core and 10 legendary shards, which is pretty cool. Everybody that's playing Hunters wanting that 10 recovery, now you can get it. They also say that you can rework the stats, but they're having an AI bug right now to where when you re-roll it, it says you re-rolled it, and it looks like you did, but it didn't actually take your materials, so don't worry. Everything will be good. Now, they do go on to say that this is just the first version of Armor Masterworks, and they're planning on continuing updating this system with additional benefits. As always, if you have any feedback, just let them know. Now, I think they've done a pretty good job listening to us so far. Obviously, this stuff should have been done from the beginning, but they are listening. Most other games won't. They are. We're going to get there. Alright, moving on. We have the Raid Reward Renewal. And we have Senior Designer Daniel Akinpog, I assume is how you pronounce his name. He says, with the upcoming January patch, we're making a number of changes to the way Raid Rewards work. We've been hearing that the current system doesn't feel exciting when you kill bosses, that tokens aren't interesting enough, and that you want more deep chase items to hunt down. He says this is our first swing at tackling some of those, and we'll hope you join in and play these changes a bit and then let us know how you feel. For now, let's dive into the changes and talk a bit about our goals and thinking with them. Finally, they're doing something about the raid rewards. The fact that the game didn't launch with raid-specific perks is ridiculous. That's the whole point in playing raids. You want that special gear that you can only get from there. Otherwise, it's just cosmetic like it is now. Raid armor will come with raid perks. I don't know why weapons won't. That was a good thing about Destiny 1. You play Vaulted Glass, your weapons did extra stuff in the raid. That made you actually want to use the raid weapons in the raid. Don't know why they're not like that in Destiny 2, but the raid armor will get new perks. They say raid armor now drops with perks that function on the Leviathan. These appear on mods that are selectable on both new drops and existing armor pieces that you may already have. So if you already have a full set of the gear, you don't have to do anything. They're already going to be there. The only bad side is if you already have the perks, you might not be as motivated to play since you already have the gear with the perks. But if you don't have the perks, like me, my Titan, I don't have all the pieces for him, so I'll definitely be playing with him and getting those perks. They also say that these mods are reusable, so if you swap to another one, there will always be a list to swap back to on your raid armor for the low price of 1 Callus token. They also go on to say that since no one wants to take a -5 power penalty if they remove their legendary mods while in the raid, all the raid mods are legendary by default, which is pretty cool. Now, this should also be the extra icing on the cake for Guardians who can't seem to get the last mod they need to max their gear out. So it'll definitely help you there. The goals of these perks was to elevate the power of the Guardians in the raid, and we aim to build things that were useful in every encounter. As a result, we avoided things that relied on specific mechanics to be useful and moved to broadly useful perks like recharge your grenade when you activated your super and deal 20% extra damage after getting a melee kill, as to opposed to tied to specific mechanics, which I guess is okay. I kind of like the specific mechanics like they were in Destiny 1, but we got something. And as you can see in the picture here, it shows the Emperor's Blaze class item mod on the Hunter's Cloak, which, while on the Leviathan, your solar abilities deal 25% more damage. Now, honestly, I doubt that we're going to have the same perks on each armor piece, because realistically, I don't think they'll have us doing 125% more damage while using solar abilities. Especially if you're running Celestial, you'll be one-shotting Callus all day long. So I'm sure we'll be getting much different perks on different armor sets, or armor pieces, rather. Now, Bungie does go on to say that when you clear Prestige, if you haven't done normal, you will get Prestige and normal drops. That way you don't have to go back and do normal to get those rewards as well, which is pretty cool. I think they did that in Destiny 1 also, which is very useful. You don't have to go back and do each type. Now, they go on to say that each raid encounter will drop a raid piece, which is cool. No more just getting tokens. You'll actually be getting some gear. They also go on to say that old Benedict in the tower, he's going to be selling the pieces of gear and weapons weekly, that it will change every week. So, if you have Callus tokens and you're missing the Conspirator, when he's selling it, you can buy it. No more grinding for it. Now, one of the biggest changes in the raid, or I wouldn't say biggest, but one of the coolest changes is the new exotic raid ghost, the Contender Shell. Now, this thing is going to be a beast. It's going to come with a bunch of new perks. The first being Seeker of Brilliance, which enables the chance for encounters to drop bright engrams from their loot pools. Every time one doesn't drop a bright engram, we increase the chance for the next time. Pretty cool. You actually have another way to earn the loot boxes in Destiny 1 that everybody's complaining about. We also have Seeker of Opulence. Gives you a 50% chance to pull from a list of exotics you don't already have, instead of from the standard list, since, most of the encounters are supposed to increase your chance of dropping exotics, so that's pretty cool. If you're missing something and you have this ghost, most likely you won't be missing it anymore. And lastly, we also have Seeker of Glory, which provides a tracker for the number of encounters you have defeated on the Leviathan. Here's a picture of the ghost shell. Looks pretty cool. I can't wait. Another thing to farm for. We got stuff to do. What else can I say? We have more stuff to do. That's what keeps me engaged, at least. Alright guys, before I end the video, we have just a few more patch notes. The Prometheus lens is finally getting to where it's supposed to be. It's going to have increased base damage. The frame refraction perk is now going to generate ammo instead of pulling from reserves, which is awesome. You run out of ammo so fast with that thing because it pulls from reserves. Now it's just going to pull it out magically, so you're going to be going non-stop all day, every day. Now, they also fixed an issue where new characters created after release of Curse of Osiris were not receiving the Flashpoint milestone. Players in social spaces like the Tower will receive a notification when their lost and found at the Postmaster is full. Now, I still have an issue with the social space of the Tower. The fact that we're still getting black screens. I thought they fixed that a while ago. Apparently they didn't. Get on it, Bungie. Heroic Strike completions now have a greater chance of granting exotic rewards, which is pretty cool if you're missing exotics. Mercury challenges are now available during adventures. They fixed an issue where Curse of Osiris strikes were not properly granting clan engrams when featured as a Nightfall activity. They fixed an issue where challenges were not appearing within quick play. And last, they increased the dismantle timer for Masterwork cores. Now, everybody, I know we're not where we should have been. Bungie's listening. They're making changes. Hopefully they keep it up, making great changes. Destiny 2 is going to be to where it should be someday. Soon. Hopefully. Now, one last thing before we go. I forgot about the shaders. Senior lead Tyson Green made a few comments about the shaders and, deleting them as a whole stack. He says, shaders are individual items, and individual items trigger individual reward bundles when dismantled. Even with those rewards are simple. That creates a challenge for us and we haven't yet addressed it, which is triggering dozens or hundreds of reward bundles simultaneously when an entire stack of shaders is dismantled. He says this is challenging not simply because an arbitrary number of rewards need to be run and delivered simultaneously, but because we also have to safeguard against scenarios where this produces items that couldn't fit in your inventory, which could be instantly lost. Example, shaders that produce glimmer could easily evaporate into nothing if you were near or at the cap, which for me that happens anyway. It would be relatively easy to find another button on the controller, L2 or X, and let players actually delete a full stack, but that isn't the spirit of what people are asking for, so we're looking at a stronger solve. Now, from what I hear, that's exactly what people are asking for. Their inventory space is being bogged up by stacks of shaders they'll never use, and they can't just delete them instantly. So, that is the spirit of what we're trying to do. We want to get rid of those shaders. But he also says we're looking into address other shader feedback. He says it would be easier to get rid of a stack of shaders. We're looking at the mass exchange solutions. We know you missed D1 shader mechanics. We're looking ways to integrate that capability without losing the ability to shade weapons, ghosts, ships, sparrows, or customize specific pieces of armor, which I'm hoping they don't. It was pretty good in Destiny 1, just the fact that you couldn't shader individual armor pieces or your ship or your sparrow. That's what made it golden. We also understand that your shaders will be more freely usable and not limited by availability, which is amazing. Tired of trying to stock up on a certain type of shader that I don't have. They also said that we are looking at reintroducing shader collections or a way to get copies of a shader in your possession. He said this work is ongoing and will go on record as to when this solution will land and as we get closer to a fix that we test and clarify. For now, it is important to us that you know it's on our workbench. Alright, there we have it, guys. Lots of new changes. I'm excited. I still love Destiny 2. I'm still hanging in there. I still believe. I hope you guys do too. That's it for me, guys. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys next time.